Divinity is an exotic special trace rifle in Destiny 2. For the intrinsic perk, it has Judgment. Sustained damage with this weapon envelops the target in a field that weakens and stuns them, strong against Overlord champions. If you maintain your shot on an enemy for around 0.6 seconds, the enemy will get a bubble around them. The bubble lingers for 1.5 seconds, and you will need to continuously land your shots on an enemy to keep the bubble. This bubble means two things. First, an enemy is now debuffed to take extra 30% damage from all sources. This includes damage from your abilities. Second, the bubble around your enemy acts as a crit spot. Shooting anyone in the bubble will not only deal precision damage to an enemy, it will actually count as a precision hit. This means that you can proc perks that benefits from precision hit, such as triple tap by shooting at the bubble instead of an enemy's actual crit spot. However, there's a catch on this crit spot. Divinity's bubble has its own crit modifier that may be different from enemy's crit modifier. Some enemies take more damage from crit than other enemies, such as Kali in Last Wish. For those enemies, shooting Divinity Bubble will do less damage than shooting them to their actual crit spot. 30% debuff still applies normally, so if you decide to use Divinity on enemies that has higher crit modifier, make sure to hit them on their actual crit spot instead of Divinity Bubble. There are three things about Bubble. 1. The location of Bubble is static for each enemy. Where you shoot an enemy does not matter, it will always create a bubble at a static location. Usually this is somewhere in the middle of the enemy, but there are some enemies that gets bubble in a weird location, such as Tanix in Deep Zone Prep, who gets a bubble under him. 2. Once the bubble has been created, you can shoot the bubble instead of an enemy to maintain it. This makes keeping the bubble up easier. 3. You don't need to land all of your shots to maintain the bubble. You can miss some shots here and there. Considering the fact that Divinity is a trace rifle, it will be rare to miss enough shots to lose a bubble. However, the reason why I'm mentioning this fact is because we can use this to our advantage on increasing the bubble uptime. Once the bubble has been created, instead of holding the trigger, tap it rapidly. Doing so will allow you to keep the bubble up for a longer time with less ammo consumed. This will result in lower DPS for the Divinity user, but the purpose of Divinity is increasing other Guardians' DPS, so your DPS will rarely be a problem. This technique is useful in high-end content where there is only a small window of DPS, or ammo count is a problem, such as Raid. All effects of Divinity does not stack with other Divinity, so having more than one person using Divinity in a fire team is a waste of firepower. Divinity also has a built-in Overlord round, so it is very effective against Overlord champions. Divinity's exotic trait is Penance. Targets under the effect of Judgment long enough are struck with a burst of damage. When the bubble is up, it will burst every 4 seconds and deal damage to an enemy. While the description says a burst of damage, it's not that high of a damage. The amount of damage is roughly around 47 rounds of Divinity shots, but each round of Divinity doesn't do that much damage to begin with. Just think of this as a small amount of extra damage. Divinity is a very powerful support tool in Destiny 2. This is one of only 2 weapons that can debuff enemy, while the other being a Tractor Cannon. But Tractor Cannon uses power ammo and needs to be up close, while Divinity uses special ammo and can be used in long range. But is Divinity really on top of all debuffs? Sure, Tractor Cannon uses heavy, but you can shoot and swap to special ammo to contribute on DPS, unlike Divinity. Well, you're basically stuck on Divinity for the entire DPS. And we have some other means of debuffs such as Hunter's Tether. Why should we use Divinity? That is because Divinity's strongest point is not the debuff, but the creation of Precision Spot. There are some enemies that are hard to land Precision Hit than others, and a lot of guns relies on Precision Hit to be effective. Against those enemies, every precision shot that is missed is a big loss in DPS, since missing crit doesn't only mean doing less damage, but also means that perks that relies on Precision Hit won't proc, such as triple tap. Divinity is like a death sentence to those enemies. Having just one person using Divinity will allow other Guardians to land Precision Hit with way lower risk, and making the DPS more stable. There is a good reason why one of the most common questions asked before Roll Encounter about the Disciple raid is, do we have Divinity? Thank you for watching. I will see you on my next video.